Yo, welcome to another Dino Reacts video we got today. Though we want to talk about the flooding that is happening around the world, specifically the flooding that is happening in Brazil. This is another part of my spiritual series, which is going to talk about all the phenomenons happening around the world. And as always, let's get after it.
Now, at least 83 people are dead after days of heavy rain in southern Brazil, and more than 100 are missing. Another 122,000 people have been displaced by floods, which have destroyed roads and bridges in several cities, triggered landslides, and caused a dam to partially collapse. The governor of Brazil's Rio Grande do Sul state has described it as being in a war scenario. It is the fourth time they've been hit by flooding in the last year. Aisha Tull has more.
This is what days of pounding rain has done to the southernmost region of Brazil, the city of Canoas, just outside the state capital. Boats having to replace cars, and helicopters becoming a small beacon of hope as people await rescue. A body-worn camera captures the moment a soldier uses a brick to break the roof of a house to free a baby trapped by floodwater. A scene now too familiar for the people of Rio Grande do Sul, as the military and volunteers frantically race to save others who need help.
With all of the flooding that's been going on around the world, like especially with the heavy rains that I've been hearing in Los Angeles, and what I've seen on the news of the great floods that were in Dubai and in India, I would like to think of it as biblical scripture and the coming of the last times, and all the floodings are representative of man's tampering with God's nature and God's laws. And I think that tampering is coming through crop seeding or cloud seeding. I think that's one of the things that we've done lately that's definitely led to a very, very large rise in rainfall and water production, which in some cases could probably be good. But in some cases like this, it's creating mass flooding in places that has never been seen like that before. From the overflooding in Brazil that I'm showing you now to seeing that much heavy rain in the desert, it makes me really concerned about the effects of what's happening in the spiritual realm. Because the physical realm is being expected, so there must be a very, very, very deep war going on in the spiritual realm.
I am 53 years old, and this is the first time our house has flooded. It has never flooded before. We never thought we would go through this.
Yeah.
At least 80 people are known to have died, more than 100 are still missing, and over 100,000 can't return home.
Well, first off, let's send out a prayer and a heartfelt gift of love and support to everybody that is missing and anybody that lost any family members. This must be hard for the loss of life, the loss of possessions, and not know what's going forward, and the displacement of such a heavy population. And this is the case with something like this happen, I would be so comfortable with displacing their entire population into the United States for something like this, because I can understand it, but you know what's going on here in the States. But I just want to send out my condolences with God's love.
I need a lot of help, a lot. We have nowhere to sleep and nothing to eat. We have nothing.
It's very difficult. I almost drowned. The guy who saw me pulled me into the boat because I couldn't.
Almost everyone in the region has a story of rescue, survival, and sadly, loss. The Brazilian president flew over the affected areas with members of his cabinet promising help from the national government.
I put all of them on my helicopter. We came here so that we could have a glimpse, get the extent of the flood, together with the governor. So we saw the damage that the rain is causing and has already caused.
Last week, the president described the floods as being the largest Brazil had ever seen. Never before had so much rain fallen in one single location, he said. Weather across South America is currently being affected by the phenomenon of El Niño, which warms surface waters and causes intense rainfall in the south of Brazil and drought in the north. But scientists say the extreme weather is happening more often because of human-caused climate change.
Unfortunately, droughts and floods will occur.
That's exactly what I said earlier. She just mentioned it about human-induced climate change. And I'm not talking about body heat or, you know what I'm saying, or some natural occurrence from overpopulation that people would say that it's contributing to climate change. I'm talking about human beings actually tampering with the climate through science, through the manipulation of science. And I think that has one of the biggest definitions and one of the biggest parts of the changes, because we don't know to an extent what we've been doing. The public hasn't been made note of it. We've heard about crop dusting, and now, like, I'm getting into, you know what I'm saying, cloud seeding. I'm doing it because of my own independent research. But from the most part, I don't hear most people talking about it, and the mainstream media, it just doesn't mention that stuff. So without any regulations, like, how much of that has actually happened to create these man-made phenomenons, not natural phenomenons, man-made phenomenons.
more frequently and will often lead to unprecedented situations that can lead to these disasters.
More rain is forecast in the coming days. A state of alert has been reissued, with no respite in sight for the towns and cities already submerged in record-breaking floodwater.
Okay, well, that's the end of the article right there. I would just like to say that I feel so sad for the families that had to be involved in this flood, but looking forward, as we've been seeing these natural occurrences or these weather-based occurrences happening more frequently, I'll be on the lookout for any signs from God and from the spiritual realm to let me know why this is happening. But my initial verdict is that it's man-made and that we should stop messing with God's plan. So I really hope that everybody ends up being okay, and as always, chef's kiss.